What's up? Hi. It's Joan, and I'm gonna be showing you how to use my Datastore module. Um, it'll be in the description if you don't have it. I just released it today. So let me grab this thing. It's a module script, so it doesn't do anything on its own. You're gonna need to put it inside of a script, server script, regular server script like this. Just parents it inside of it. Then inside of the actual module script, there's a little bit of documentation in here. I'm not sure if it's very useful or not because I wrote it in like 5 minutes. But the actual module itself isn't too hard to understand if you read it or if you know how to read script. Maybe you just don't want to make your own data store for whatever reason. Not judging. That's why I made it. Just initialize it by copying this piece of code right here. Bam. Local players equals game get service players. So basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be adding in the actual player spawning function. It's just needed. I guess this is the only thing I can say about it. This isn't a tutorial for beginners. Um, I would recommend having some scripting knowledge if you're going to be using this. But if you want, you can pause the video at times and copy my script. Okay, so let's start this. Now, this has 4 functions inside of it. There's create folder, create values, retrieve data, and send data. All of these, well, actually, no, I wouldn't say all of them are equally as important. I'd say the most important ones are retrieve data and send data. These two are just to make it easier if you're gonna make like a UI on the client that like keeps track of stats or whatever. You can use this for making like a stat system if you're gonna make like a game or something, or you could use this for an economy system for displaying money and saving money if you're gonna make like a Star Wars game with credits or like an actual game with money that you can deposit and withdraw. Let's start this off with creating a folder. So the way you'd create a folder with this module is you do store module dot create folder, and there are 2 parameters to create a folder. First one is the name. So for the name, you could put it as anything. It doesn't really matter. I'll probably name it like Bingus or something. Then the second one is where it's going to be parented. I personally would parent it inside of the player so it's easier to reference later on in the script or in any other script that you need to reference this because it is replicated on both the client and the server. So any other script can see what the value is of this folder or what's inside of this folder more accurately. But for simplicity's sake, I'll be putting it inside of the player. You could put it inside of like a replicated storage if you wanted to. I know some games do that with their stats folders, but I like putting it inside of player. Now, if I test it right now and I open up my player, you'll see there's a folder named Bingus in my folder. Now you're probably like, "Oh, why don't you just use instance.new and then folder?" Well, because it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's more complicated, but it's more time consuming to use instance.new. Because if you wanted to do instance.new, do what you could do in one line, you would have to hold on. Let me put that in 2 quotes. You'd have to do local folder or local bingus equals instance.new folder, comma player bingus.name equals bingus. Yeah, it's only a one line difference, but it it does save some time. And I do like this a lot more. I like this a lot more than this. It just looks cleaner in my opinion. Okay, so now we have our folder. If we wanted to, we could make more folders if we're going to be storing different types of things. Like we could name this one pineapple or whatever. The names really don't matter as long as they're string names. So I couldn't name it player or I'd get an error. I could fix that really easily right now. Oh no. I could name it player or I could name it after the player because it has a two string inside of it. My bad. I forgot. So if I look in here, bam. But yeah, we only need the one folder for now. Now, to make it easier for us to see what values are and replicate them if we're going to be like in game using admin commands or running scripts inside the game. Also, only server scripts can actually, like edit the values of whatever you're going to be saving. Any local scripts can only edit values on the client, and this has literally nothing to do with the client except for displaying it to the client. After this, let's create our first value. So store module that create values, and I believe values has three. Hold on, no. Is it also two? No, yeah. It has three types of types. It has three parameters inside of it. The first one is name, so we could call this one cache. The second one is what's the second one? Parent, I believe. So inside of here, we could do um player find first child Bingus. Or I believe we could make this a variable and put this inside of our variable. And then inside of here, we put in what kind of value we'd like to make this. Now, there are three types of values that you can use for this, which are, hold on, I gotta find it just to show you. Number value, integer value, and string value. The difference between all of these is number value is a number that can use decimals, integer value is a number that can't use decimals, and string value is text. So I'm going to be using number value. Also, I do believe that if I leave this blank and don't put anything there, it'll automatically default to a number value. Oh, no, I guess it just doesn't do anything. That's cool. I got to fix that. But yeah, actually, I should look at the output log. For simplicity, we're doing number value. I gotta actually put Bingus. Actually, I could just make it return Bingus. There we go. There's our cache value now. We could edit it. We could do whatever we want with it as long as we're putting in numbers or decimals. Now, the next thing we can do here is actually get our data store. Since the player is going to be joining in, they're most likely not going to have anything inside of their data store for now. Oh, first off, make sure your game has HTTP requests and access to API services. HTTP requests just in case you need to use JSON encoding if you're going to be saving like dictionaries slash arrays. But otherwise, I guess you wouldn't need HTTP service. Anyway, now that we have access to Studio APIs, we can actually use our data store. So let's open this script back up. Now, the one we're going to be wanting to use right now is module.retrieve data, or just retrieve data. So to use that, we go store module, store module dot retrieve data. And there's, I believe, 3 parameters for this one. Yeah, there's 3 parameters. There's store, there's scope, and then there's key. Now, store is the name of the data store that we're going to be referencing. So let's call this one cash. Or no, let's call this one money. Scope is like a folder that's inside of that data store. So if we wanted to make like an actual bank system where you could deposit and withdraw your money, we'd have the scope for the money inside of your bank as deposited, or in bank, or whatever you want to name it. It doesn't matter. And then our key is going to be player.user_ID. Why is it going to be user ID? Because it's a lot easier to find someone's key by their user ID. And if we like made it by their name, it would kind of break if they changed their name, so that wouldn't be a good idea. Next, we're going to do Bingus, find first child, cash, dot value equals. Actually, I should make this local. Now, the reason you want to make this into a variable is because inside of the module, where's it at? It returns the value of it returns the data that you have, basically. We're going to be doing if deposited is not equal to nil inside of the server script, but you could edit it down here in right here. You could put or 500 or whatever you want if you're going to do money, but it really doesn't matter. Now we have our data store set up. Well, not completely set up, but we have it made, I guess, is what we would say. Now, next thing we're going to do is add the actual saved data part. So we're going to be doing players.player removing connect function player. And we only have to use one function right here, and that's going to be the send data function. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could save data every like 5 minutes if you added a coroutine right here. But yeah, you know what? I'll make that. Then we're gonna go over here to module send data. This has 4 parameters this time. And basically, with the parameters, they're essentially the same as the retrieve data parameters, except for the last one. The last one is a new parameter. So we're gonna do money deposited player.user_ID. And the last one is going to be the value. And now the value we're going to want to do here is going to be whatever's inside of bingus.cash.value. Now, since bingus.cash.value isn't here right now, we have to do player. Actually, no. Anyway, that was weird. Okay, so if you don't know what a coroutine is, basically it's a how would I explain a coroutine? It's a function that's separate from the actual script. So while I'm doing the wait 60, instead of it waiting 60 seconds, instead of it completely stopping the script to wait 60 seconds, it would see that there's a coroutine. No, wait, I have to put, okay. It would see, it would go down here to coroutine.resume and see what coroutine is being resumed. Coroutine.resume is basically how you play a coroutine. Anyway, instead of the script stopping as soon as it sees this wait 60 seconds, it'll jump over that, it'll see this coroutine not resume, and it's basically just make a new script that's only purpose is to wait 60 seconds so it can do this money deposited thing. I'm going to steal this, except I can't use bingus.cash. So, now that we've done that, if we go into our player, you'll see cash is now 500, right? So what I'm going to do now, just to test if it works, is change current to server, go into bingus.cache, change the value like that, go back to client, stop. Then we're going to play again. I'm going to go back to the cache, and you can see that it's saved. So thanks to this module that I've, oh, I closed it on accident. So thanks to my module, we now have a completely working data store in less than 40 lines. If you want it, it'll be in the description. Yeah, thanks.